And welcome here to Dover International Raceway as we're ready for the running of the Lucas Oil 200 race number 12 of the PCSRA Coca-Cola Truck Series. After this race, we only have 4 more races left to go until the playoffs, so time is starting to run out for these drivers that do not have a win, that need to get a win to get themselves locked into this season's chase for the championship. And if this morning's AutoZone Amateur Series race was any indication, we might see some drivers who are struggling in the point standings really help themselves get them into the playoffs, just like what we saw this morning. As there's a look at your points. Of course, we don't have non-charters this weekend because it is the charter drivers that are here for these last, including today's race 5 here in the regular season. We'll see the non-charters at their, at the playoff opener at Chicagoland. Sean Hart starts on the pole position, comes in this race 17th in the point standings, still looking for his first win of the season here in the Truck Series. Alongside of him, former winner of the season, Tico Jumiaka. Now, Tico comes into this race 14th in the point standings, gained 4 spots after last week's race at Rio de Janeiro. So we'll see how he goes. That's Jimmy Baker in the 0-2, right behind Sean. And Makara Mirmwas. Jimmy Baker comes into this race 18th in the point standings. Figured this, he was in the danger zone not that long ago. And then Makara Mirmwas, who comes in this race 11th in the point standings. A win for either of those drivers, and they're into the playoffs. As the trucks have been fired up, these drivers are ready to roll off behind the Chevy Silverado pace car. I will show you the rest of the starting grid for today's race, the Lucas Oil 200. I was trying to think what the race name is called. There's the top 28. There's our points leader, Justin Hugo, back there. He's got his work cut out for him. And the rest of these drivers. Victor Gonzalez starting last. Justin Hugo leads the points by 89 points over Sarah Costello. Still. Benny MacArthur is third in the point standings, 189 points back. He's third in the points. Hattie Swore is fourth in points. Prudence Littlejohn is 5th. 6th is Bridget Thomas. Victor Gonzalez 7th. April Winters is 8th. 9th, Erica Douglas. And Samantha Granger completes the top 10. Watching MasterChef Canada in my room as I'm recording this. And of course I am in my room, so yeah. Don't worry about if the deal freezes up. What once was a cloudy day turned into a sunny day. There's the flagman with the green flag, and we're racing here at Dover. And I'm going to try to be quiet because in about 28 minutes time, my roommates will be getting ready to go to sleep. So I'm going to just try to not be loud and try to be more respectful. So hopefully you guys don't mind. Hopefully you guys understand why I'm doing it. That's also the first pole for Sean Hart this season, as Jimmy Baker will lead the first lap. Think about this. Jimmy Baker struggled in his first starts of the year. At the beginning of the year, was in the danger zone of losing his charter, but they've seemed to gotten their act together lately, and that's why he comes in this race in the 18th spot in points. Still has not finished. Let's talk about the playoff grid coming into today's race. If you include this race, like I said, we have 5 races to go, including today's event. As I had to drink my Pepsi there. I brought some Pepsi from the convenience store in between the AutoZone Amateur Series race and this race. So coming in this race, Justin Hugo and April Winters, 2-time winners this season, both tied for the #1 seed going into the reformatted playoff points. So they would have the tie in that. Of course, the tiebreaker would go to who is highest in points. Of course, Justin Hugo leading the points would obviously... Samantha Granger would be third in the... Hattie Swore would be third. And then Samantha Granger would be 4. Tico Jumiaka would be 5. Of course, right now, those 5 drivers have a win connection problem. So just be aware. And then the 5 drivers that get in on points: Sarah Costello, Benny MacArthur, Prudence Littlejohn, Bridget Thomas, and the driver who would take the final transfer spot would be Erica Douglas. Of course, she came in this race 33 points ahead of Makara Amirmuez. So critical for Makara Amirmuez. We're going to check the back of the field. Charlie Silver's back here, not having a good run. That's Bridget Thomas in the 18 back here, battling with April Winters. April Winters can definitely afford it. Of course, her brother Alex had an engine failure in the Yellowstone Amateur Series race. Oh, we got a crash. We got a crash in turn number 3. That's Patrick Combs, who ended up racing in the Yellowstone Amateur Series race, and Tico Jumiaka is involved. Oh, we got a bigger wreck. Second in points, Sarah Costello's in it. That's Benny MacArthur. That's another driver who is top 2 in the point standings, and the caution is no doubtably out. And Jimmy Baker's coming to pit row. Well, that didn't take long. Let's see what happened here to Tico Jumiaka. That's a couple of drivers. A win for them, they would be in the playoffs. As I went too fast on the fast forward, do apologize. And boy, Patrick Combs just ran over the DC Solar Chevy Silverado of Tico Jumiaka. Then, let's see what happened here to the 46 of Sarah Costello. She's the gal trying to run down Justin Hugo for the points lead. Oh, someone just shoved April Winters into the wall, and I really don't know what the 05 was thinking. I mean, he just turned dead right into the City Chevrolet Silverado. So I don't really know what that was really all about between those two. And then who put April Winters in the wall? That's my next question. Or was she trying to avoid some drivers? Oh, no, Bridget Thomas got into the 38. Okay. And then these two got together. I really don't know why the 05 was going to wreck the, was going to cause that, but boy, that's second and third in points. That was involved. That's good news for Justin Hugo, because those two drivers were trying to run down Justin Hugo for the points lead coming into this race. I bet Justin Hugo's got a good smile on his face. The two drivers trying to run him down for the points lead take each other out. And Sarah Costello's out of the race, so is Tico Jumiaka. I bet Jumiaka was probably disheartened. Of course, Jumiaka, former winner this season, he can definitely... he better hope to goodness sake he cannot have more DNFs. Since we are coming down to the end of the regular season. Green flags in the air. Sean Art's the leader. 34 of our 36 drivers on the lead lap and on track. That's 2 weeks in a row. Sarah Costello lately has been dropping the ball lately, so it's not good for the driver. Came in second in points, so we're in for a point shakeup, just like we had in the AutoZone Amateur Series race this morning. There's Erica Douglas in the Charleston Restaurant Nesquik Chevy Silverado out of Dana Voiles Racing. Douglas came in not only on the bubble to try to make the playoffs, came in this race 9th in the point standings, has one of the playoff spots. A win for her. She would secure her spot into the playoffs. She was a former winner last season. Of course, this series and the Buffalo Wild Wings series was run by Cody Smart. It was not aired on any YouTube channels, so that's why I'm basing this off. But Erica Douglas Trying to make sure she gets one of the, trying to make it 3 DVR drivers into this season's chase for the championship. Of course, Sarah Costello came in this race second in the points, but she's going to definitely take a hit. Her other teammate, Hattie Swartz, a former winner this season from Las Vegas. And this young lady right here, Ashley Horton, not only is trying to get a win to get into the playoffs, but also trying to get a win to keep her charter for next season. But a good run for her nevertheless, as Jessica Moore has taken the lead. Coming into this race, the drivers in the danger zone of losing their charters for next season are as follows. Patrick Combs, Charlie Silver, Billy Kitchens, Peach Ramirez, and Rita Sigrid. Because Stephanie Driscoll is running in the Buffalo Wild Wings series. Annika Ritchie is a Foster Series driver. Same with Carla Sanat. Ashley Horton is on the bubble to keep her charter. Boy, DVR is going to be flirting with disaster. But like I said, a win from any of those drivers running full-time, they would be into the playoffs. Sean Hart, a win for him. He would make the playoffs. He's trying to make the playoffs in the Buffalo Wild Wings series. He has a win at Martinsville, but it's currently not going to count towards a spot into the playoffs because of the fact he is outside the top 30 in the points. The other thing is, if Sean goes to victory lane, makes the playoffs, this 59 team would keep their charter for next season. Remember, you do not want to be in the bottom season because you will charter to the top 5 in the Arizona. On his Aris Toyota, of course, he finished 17th earlier today, so he didn't have enough time to take a shower. There's Annika Ritchie. Benny MacArthur, I'll just say Benny MacArthur committed female abuse. There's Jesse Art. Jesse has yet to go to victory lane this season. Makara Amir Moez. There's Lauren Grubies in a 3-wide situation with Art and Amir Moez. Makara Amir Moez, to be more specific. We've raced here at Dover before. I don't think on this version. And I cannot look up and think who won this event in 2016. Of course, that race was on Travis Crampton's channel. Of course, Travis Crampton used to do the races with me, but ever since I got NR 2003, I've been doing my races by myself. So I don't know who is the defending winner. I think it was probably a driver who's currently in the Monster Energy Series, but I cannot think off the top of my head who would that be. You know, Nick Pericles is a former winner here in the Monster Energy Series when we were here in 2016. That was actually our first ever race at this track. So, yeah. There's Lucky Prescott. Lucky has been in this 23 ride for her limited starts this season. Comes into this race 35th in the point standings, but the good news for her, she'll keep her charter for next season, or this 23 truck will. Because remember, Brian Gomez ran a few races in that ride and turned the driving power over to Lucky Prescott, so that way she can be playoff eligible. The other reason was Lucky Prescott couldn't race that truck until she was 18. Well, she is 18, so. Just like Gretchen Mueller, just like April Winters, who had to wait until they turned 18 years old to even race in this series. We talked about Sean Art, who's been the victory lane in the Buffalo Wild Wings series. And of course, he's trying to get himself into the top 30 in points for that victory to count towards the spot into the playoffs. As I say, he comes into this race 17th in the point standing. So if he were to win today, he would be into the playoffs. Because he is inside the top 30 in the point standings. Jessica Moore, who's currently in second, 21st in the point standings. Same scenario. Win for Jessica Moore, she would be in the playoffs. Lucky Prescott, on the other hand, even if she were to win this race, I don't know if it's going to be enough for her to get herself in the top 30 in the point standings. She came in this race 114 points back. It's possible she could win to get into the playoffs. She is 114 points back of 30th in the standings. That is occupied by Peach Ramirez. So, definitely, I think she's got her work cut out. There's Carla Sinat in the 49 truck. Carla came in this race 31st in the points. A win for Carla Sinat, and she would be in the playoffs. They're on their, a little off topic here. They're on the final elimination, or what I call pressure test. So, Scott has now taken the race lead. These trucks can go 99 laps on a full tank of fuel, so those drivers that made an early pit stop, they cannot make it the rest of the way without having to stop under green. Because if we get into a long green flag run, pitted could be in big trouble and not get a good finish. And of course, Patrick Combs, who raced in the AutoZone Amateur Series race earlier today, had 150 extra laps on the track today. Of course, like I said, the AutoZone Amateur Series race this morning. And now the Truck Series are racing here today in the daylight. And of course, temperature has changed a lot. It was cloudy. The track had a lot more grip here at Dover this morning when we called the AutoZone Amateur Series. Now it's a nice sunny day. Temperatures up in the 80s, but the track is hot and slick. So these cars these trucks, rather, are slip sliding around and losing grip. Because when that sun because after the AutoZone Amateur Series race, when the sun came out, the track started to heat up. The track has less grip than it was on a cloudy day. And we knew these trucks were going to be slip sliding around, and it was going to be a tough challenge for them. There's Azara Mirmoez. Don't think Azar Mirmoez has made a start in the Buffalo Wild Wings series. Let me actually check the Buffalo Wild Wings series while I'm thinking about it. Let me see. Has Azar made a start in the Buffalo Wild Wings series? That's actually a good question to find out. The only one that I know of, as far as the Mirmoez clan, that's made a start this season would be Makara Mirmoez. Also, I believe, oh yeah, and also Katsura Mirmoez. But Katsura Mirmoez was only scheduled to run a race. But I don't think Azar Mirmoez has made a start in the Buffalo Wild Wings series race. I'm going to go back to the Truck Series. I believe Amirma would actually be icky next season if she were to, and if she wins today, she would be not only into the playoffs, but keep in mind, the drivers that make the playoffs for trucks, they're automatically into the Buffalo Wild Wings series next season. And looking at the drivers that I mentioned when I went through the playoff grid, none of them, well, actually, with the exception of Hattie Swore, who currently has a ride in the Buffalo Series, would be in. Oh, we got an incident in turn 4. I saw some skid marks, and a yellow flag is out. Our second caution of the day. I don't know who it's for, but I saw some skid marks. It could have been Jimmy Baker. Let me double check. Or it may not be Jimmy Baker. Nope, it was not Jimmy Baker. It was Jesse Art. And apparently she had a mechanical problem or something. She was trying to get in the pit lane, and Annika Ritchie just spun the 11 around. And that's where the skid marks came from. I don't know if Jesse had a flat tire or something. We'll have to double check that. Yep, she did have a tire go down. And there's pit stops. For some of these drivers, it is their first stops of the day. Tough break for Jessie Art. The good news is she is going to be resuming this race. So she definitely had a tire go down, and I guess Annika Ritchie got in the way. And of course, this is Annika Ritchie's home race. May I remind you all. She is from Maryland, and this is the closest that she can get to a home race. So nobody out of the race from that incident. Only the 46 and the 24 in the garage. Both Sarah Costello and Tico Jumiaka have been released from the infield care center, so that's good to see they're okay. I'm seeing also some drivers a lap down. Charlie Silver's 2 laps down. Not sure what's up with that. Of course, Jessie Art came to pit road, or teleported to pit road, because she stalled on track, trying to get her truck refired because she had a flat tire. So she has returned the race, and also Jimmy Baker and Heather Gallant are also off the lead lap. So a tough break for those 2 drivers. Gallant and Jimmy Baker, a win for them. They would have made it into the playoffs. As we're back to green, looks like everybody on that inside line is up to speed, so we're going to definitely have some lap traffic in the way. It's like Chloe Carmichael's going to take the race lead. Of course, if Chloe Carmichael goes to victory lane, whoever gets this ride would keep their charter for next season. We're past the 1/4 mark, by the way. There's Annie Crenshaw. And Crenshaw has had a struggling season. 36 in points. Of course, this charter is safe for next season, so even if they lose this charter, they would still keep it because of the fact that the driver because Ari Springer won the championship, they will still use that charter for the 19. So, yeah. Of course, Annie Crenshaw has not scored a top 5 or a top 10 this season ever since she made her debut at Martinsville. And the caution is out for the 3rd time, which is a big break for Jessie Art and Charlie Silver. And for some reason, they're going to pit road. I don't know why. They're basically just trying to screw themselves to not get back on the lead lap. I don't know why. Looks like the 68 would be the reason for this yellow, and he got male abuse by, looks like that's Carla Sinat. Heavy hit in that inside wall. Goes the 1-800 Payment Chevrolet Silverado. And Ashton Ingersoll, who comes into today's race, if I can find him in points, he came in his race 16th in the points, so he's probably going to be off, probably not going to have a good points day, of course. And now Annie has the lead. First laps led enough for her to get herself in the top 30 in the point standings for that win to count towards a spot into the playoffs. Because like I said, she is 36th in points. She is a total, actually, wait, let me look. Yeah, she's definitely, yeah, she's like, yeah, she's got a, she's, I believe, like, let me think, three, she's 236 points back of 30th in the standings, so, boy, it's going to be a stretch for Annie Crenshaw. If she were to go to victory lane now, she's going to have to hope and get some good runs in the next couple of weeks if she wants to get into the playoffs. Because it's going to be a really tough one. Everybody else that has made 11 starts this year, win for them, they're in the playoffs, as long as they are in the top 30 in the point standings. Jimmy Baker's hoping for a quick yellow, as he is on the tail end of the lead lap. Jessie Art got her lap back, so she's now 1 lap down. And the other driver that got back on the, that was a lap down, is already back on the lead lap. Benny MacArthur has been given a warning, by the way, for that incident with the 46. And was told not to do it again, because if he does it again, he'll be called to the big red truck. Right now, Patrick Combs, you know, he's probably basically in a must-win situation to try to get a win to get out of the danger zone. As there's April Winters, 2-time winner this season. Apologize if NR, the arrow is going a little too fast. I don't know why it's doing that. There's Billy Kitchens. This is another driver who really needs a good run, because he's one of the 5 drivers in the danger zone of losing his charter for next season. Of course, he's driving for Nathan Orman Motorsports, and this team has not had a good truck series season. There's Samantha Granger. Like I said, I apologize for NR being stupid. There's the points leader, Justin Hugo. Justin Hugo. Let's see, where's the other gal? Where's Hattie Swore running? She's up there in 7th, so... NR, please quit doing that to me. Okay, let's do it like this. Let's get back up to Annie Crenshaw. Of course, remember, this truck won the title last season with Ari Springer behind the wheel. Of course, you will see Ari Springer and the other 38 drivers in tomorrow's Buffalo Wild Wings Series race. While these drivers are going green flag racing, I'm going to go ahead and talk my Pepsi. And if anybody's coming across this video, that by the time you're watching this, I am not sharing. I talked to Cody Smart about Annie Crenshaw. As, by the way, as I mentioned, remember I said at the beginning of this video that it's almost 10 o'clock and it's almost time for my roommates to go to bed. Well, we've hit that deadline. So like I said, I'm going to try to be quiet. I'm doing a good job. But back to what I was talking about with Cody Smart. I talked to Cody about, you know, what is he hoping for? Even if Annie Crenshaw doesn't make the playoffs, what is he hoping for in Annie Crenshaw? He said, you know, if Annie Crenshaw doesn't make the playoffs, I think, obviously, number one, she's looking forward to next year. Of course, she'll be back in this ride next year. The other thing that Cody's told me was, you know, Crenshaw's still young, trying to get used to racing in the truck series. It's going to take her some time to get developed and prove what she can do in amazing bases. And Annie Crenshaw is a talented young lady, and she can win races. And I know if Annie Crenshaw doesn't make the playoffs, I think she's definitely got something to prove for next year. I think Annie Crenshaw will probably want to be a championship favorite for next season. So we're checking here at the back of the grid. There's Lauren Grubius, the points leader, not having a good day. That's Justin Hugo, but he can ill afford it. He has 2 wins this season. He's the points leader. He can ill afford a bad finish. Like I said, you know, the good thing for Costello, MacArthur, Littlejohn, Thomas, and Douglas, as far as those 5 are concerned, is the drivers who have wins that are outside the top 30 in points are not going to make the playoffs, like David Van Buren and Santiago, Marco Diaz. Who else has a win that is outside the top 30 in the points? I think it's those 3 drivers. And none of those 3, even if they were to get a charter, none of the playoffs. With how many races we have left, which after today will be 4. So, yeah. Let's get back up here to Annie Crenshaw. Just checking on Annie. Of course, Cody Smart Motorsports still has a chance to win a championship, but may not be with this 19 bunch, which is okay for Cody, because he's got a couple of drivers on his team, like Justin Hugo came in as the points leader, and Victor Gonzalez. Now, the other thing for Victor Gonzalez, as far as this goes, if Victor Gonzalez, and the way it's looking pretty, it's going to help Victor Gonzalez for 2 reasons. Number 1, it's because he is going to be safe. Number 1, he did his job by having the 92 have a charter for next season. The other thing that's good for Victor Gonzalez is that he comes into the Buffalo Wild Wings Series race in the danger zone of losing his charter. And if Victor Gonzalez makes the playoffs, that will become null and void. Same with April Winters, who's another driver who comes in the Buffalo Wild Wings Series in the danger zone of possibly losing her charter. But the good news for her is that she wins this season, she would be also another driver that would have that danger zone be null and void. And that's a huge deal. And that's why the reason I bring that up is because, you know, if they're in the danger zone at the end of the season, that's Hattie Swartz going to take the lead. If they're in the danger zone of losing their charter for next season for the Buffalo Wild Wings Series, that goes out the window. Because with them being into the playoffs, that's not going to make it a difference. You know, it's like taking a danger zone spot and throwing it away. And of course, Hattie Swartz, on the other hand, could drop to the Buffalo Wild Wings Series because she also comes into this weekend at Dover in the danger zone of losing her spot in the Monster Energy Series unless she goes to victory lane. Now, here's the catch. If she wins the Buffalo Wild Wings Series race, she would be saved. And not only she would make the playoffs, she might be safe from losing her spot in the Monster Energy Series. Keep that in mind. Of course, Hattie swore if she were to make the playoffs, she would go to Buffalo Wild Wings Series. The only issue is going to be if she is still in the danger zone in the Monster Energy Series. So all Hattie swore can do in order to save herself from losing her spot in Monster, she would need to win a Buffalo Wild Wings Series race and needs to make sure she ends up finishing in the top, makes it into the Elite 8 if she wants to save herself from losing her spot in Monster. That's going to be her goal, because right now she's already accomplished one goal. She's already gone to victory lane, and she's currently 4th in points with 4 races to go after today. It looks very unlikely unless she starts having 3 bad races in a row, which hopefully that is not going to be the case. I don't think Hattie Swore is going to fall outside the top 30 in points. So I think for her, you know, a second win would more than likely just give her some cushion going into the reformatted playoff standings. Because now the 74 that's in the playoffs right now, they've accomplished 2 things. Number 1, a win. A win to get into the playoffs. The other thing is they also accomplish of keeping their charter for next season. Because if you make the playoffs in Truck Series, you keep your charter for next season. And you don't have that to worry about. The only thing you'll have to worry about is trying to make it into the next round of the playoffs. Let me see. I'm going to pull up our race menu presented by Wendy's. Of course, next week we go to Kansas for all 3 series. Yeah, because the next 4 races, we have Kansas, Hillside, Charlotte, and our regular season finale at IRP. Because Buffalo Wild Wings Series is starting to wind down their regular season and all that. Now, I do want to mention something for the Monster Energy Series, and I'll mention that in their race 2 days from now. Is that there's going to be a race, and I believe it's going to take part before the regular season finale. The catch is, it's only going to be for the drivers that fail to qualify, or actually, they'll actually go race at Ricky. But the catch is, it's only going to go to the drivers that fail to qualify for the Ricky race, the season opener at Ricky. Because we didn't do divisions, and we were supposed to have done divisions, but it was postponed and all that. So, to make it fair, we're going to give those 3 divisions, those that failed to qualify for Ricky. And that does include if new people that made their debuts and returns last week at Rio, they are allowed in that race. But keep in mind, it's only going to be Monster Energy drivers only. There's not going to be a Foster Series driver that's going to come in there and steal the win. I hope not. You know, 2 things I could see coming from this group. you know, you have Annie Crenshaw, who I think, unless she wins, I don't think she's going to make the playoffs. But she's going to try because, like I said, the 19 truck's more than likely going to enter these last 4 races in a must-win situation. More than likely. I mean, Hattie Swore has nothing to lose. Like I said, she's currently 4th in points, so Hattie Swore, she has nothing to lose. She can go out there and try to get more wins to get her more bonus points for the reformatted playoff standings. Annie Crenshaw, on the other hand, is trying to make the playoffs. Of course, like I said, she's coming in these last 5 races or so in a must-win situation. She's trying to get herself into the top 30 in points. If that way, if she wins today, it would count towards a spot in the playoffs. But don't count out this driver, Makara Amirmoez. She also came into this race 11th in points. And with the 18, where is the 18, speaking of which? 18's not up there. I don't know where the 18 is in the running order. 21st. Makara Mirmoez is another driver. A win for her. She would be in the playoffs. Because she's also on that cut line right there of trying to make the playoffs. The good news for her is that a couple of drivers who she's trying to run down to make the playoffs. Of course, Sarah Castillo's out of the race. As they almost went 3 wide there. Of course, Sarah Castillo's out of the race. The 05 has had some trouble as we're past the midway, as we're past the halfway point of this race. Oh, caution. Our 4th caution of the day. Look out. Oh, Hattie Swore just got collected. Oh, they're crashing. Victor Gonzalez. Heather Gallant's the reason for the yellow, but Hattie Swore is involved. Oh, we have a huge wreck in the back. Oh, it's a huge one. April Winters is in it. Heather Gallant, Billy Kitchens. What turned into a 1-car incident has turned into a multi-car wreck on the front straightaway. Oh, boy. Looks like Samantha Granger, our winner from Ricky, was involved, and she got turned by Lauren Grubius. In the inside wall goes the Muggs Ford F-Series. And then, I don't know who's the idiot that slowed down. Looks like they were slowing down, and a lot of people just ran over each other. Because I don't know why they slowed down, and then the leaders just had nowhere to go. Hattie Swore hits the 81. Makara Mirmoez had nowhere to go. Annie Crenshaw gets a little piece of it. So did Victor Gonzalez. And like I said, what turned into a 1-car incident turned into a multi-car wreck. Billy Kitchens runs in the back of the Juicy Fruit machine. April Winters involved. Erica Douglas, another driver trying to make the playoffs. Sean Art gets a piece. Pete Ramirez, that's a driver who definitely could not afford it. Jesse Art got a piece of it. Prudence Littlejohn, I don't know if she got a piece of it. Looks like she might have slowed down. Heather Gallant hit the apron and just flipped her truck upside down. Well, that was not pretty. I can tell you that for sure. As much as I want to make a smart remark about that, I'm just going to say that was pretty much ugly. And Miles the Monster has torn up a lot of drivers in this race. And it looks like Pete Ramirez is out of the race due to a camshaft failure. Jessica Moore's the leader. Pete Ramirez out of the race, and we had some drivers on the tail end of the lead lap. Drivers out after that incident, and there are a lot of them. And Tatum is actually the leader. Let's find Tatum first. There she is. A lot of drivers on the tail and lead lap. Drivers out, and there are a lot of them. Makara Mirmoez is out of the race. Billy Kitchens, Justin Hugo, the points leader. I didn't know he was collected in that incident. April Winters, two-time winner this season, out of the race. Prudence Littlejohn looks like she was involved because I didn't know if she had any damage or not, but she's out of the race. Probably ran the back of somebody under the yellow. Annika Ritchie, Lucky Prescott, Heather Gallant are out of the race. They joined Sarah Casella and Tika Jumiaka back behind the wall. And, of course, Pete Ramirez out of the race due to an engine failure under the yellow. So the top two in the point stand, or let me rephrase that. The top three in the point standings has been involved in at least an incident today. And Lauren Grubius, well, we can add her name to the list. She's out of the race with a gearbox failure. I tell you what, a lot of drivers running well in points absolutely did not need this. I think the last driver that wanted to see a new winner this season would be Erica Douglas. The good news for Douglas is that the gal she's trying to run down for that spot, of course, she's ahead of Bridget Thomas. And that turned the race lead over to Tatum Wright. Boy, Tatum Wright is poised. She came in this race 13th in points, and with a number of drivers ahead of her in the point standings, out of the race due to the incidents we've had. Not only did Tatum Wright could possibly get herself in the top 10 in the points leaving today, a win for her, she's in the playoffs. And where she's at in points, she would make the playoffs regardless. There's Chloe Carmichael take the race lead. Of course, it is nighttime as I'm recording this race, by the way. I also see for the first time today, Riley Roblier up here. There he is. As he's passed Jessica Moore, the lap truck. There's Bridget Thomas, who's off the lead lap. Ashley Horton's having a good run. How about a good run for Gretchen Mueller, the rookie? 28th in the point standings. A driver trying to get a win to get in the playoffs. Of course, she came in to replace Betty Johnson and Paris Alexandria, who, by the way, will be returning to that truck next season, Paris Alexandria. Because Gretchen Mueller's moving over to Daniel Voiles Racing next season to take one of those spots. We have one more pit stop these drivers will have to make. I'm going to put my phone down so I can eat my chips. And they are Pringles, sour cream, and onion. And I'm probably going to go take a bathroom break while this is going on. So I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Good thing is the bathroom is across the hallway. sorry about that. I had to use the bathroom. It's like while I was gone, we had a new leader, and that's Tatum Wright. Excuse me. Need to bring my water over here, so I have my water over here. Actually, I'll put some ice in after the next caution. Whenever that will be. We almost had a yellow there. One of the, I don't know which truck it was. I think it was the 40 of Azar. Amirmoez almost turned the 68. Oh yeah, Buffalo Wild Wings has not run at Dover this year, if not ever. So we're guaranteed a new winner at Dover. The best thing about racing at Dover, as far as for myself is concerned, of course, my hotel room's across the street. Of course, remember, there are no lights here at Dover. As soon as I'm done calling the races, I will head back to my hotel room. Oh, someone's up in smoke in the back. That's Charlie Silver. What are you doing, son? He blew up on the front straightaway. Like he kept the truck together. Riley Roblier's going to take the lead. So Charlie Silver's day is done. As I hit my cup. Sorry about that, cup. That's not good for Charlie Silver because he's one of the 5 drivers in the danger zone of losing his charter for next season. Now he adds himself as a driver now out of the race, and he was not having a good day either. It's like the ignition went bad on his truck. So we're down to 23 trucks on track, 13 on the lead lap. And of course, Chloe Carmichael's now in the lead of the race. I bet Chloe Carmichael's probably a nervous wreck for a number of reasons. She would like to make it in the playoffs in this series. And trying to get a win to make it in the playoffs in the Buffalo Wild Wings Series race, which she's racing 3 times this weekend because she is a rookie in the Monster Energy Series. That's why she's leaving her ride in trucks at the end of the year. Same with Buffalo Wild Wings Series. Riley Roblier took the lead back, but the 54 is going to take it, as now the 74 of Hattie Swartz going a lap down. Oh, that was close there. The 92 of Victor Gonzalez nearly chopped off 40, almost collected the leader. That would have not been pretty. So we'll move the ticker away. I'm glad I got a hotel room here at the track. Like I said, I can walk across that bridge, the Best Buy bridge. Because that's where you normally go. And I'll head back to my hotel room, relax after calling a good Truck Series race. Of course, I'm here for this entire weekend here. And of course, the weather is supposed to be beautiful for these next couple of races. Currently on lap number 139 of 200. The individuals here at Dover, Delaware at Dover National Speedway. Of course, our Triple P crew. Their set is right behind, just right above victory lane. They're enjoying what has been a interesting Truck Series race, if you ask me. I'm trying to get my charger, come on. Shit. There's my charger. Get it back up here. Charger decided to be drunk and not plug in. Yeah, let's try it again. There we go. Give me 1 second. Take my phone away. Riley Roblier currently in second. Also, Riley Roblier is another driver on the cut line of trying to keep his charter for next season. Sean is now going a lap down. Excuse me. Now we're down to 7 trucks on the lead lap. I don't know what this race would have been if we did have non-charter drivers in this field. How about a special shout out to Mandy Evans in the 58 truck for Ricky Cervantes. This race 20th in points, has not been victory lane so far this season. trying to get her first career win. Yellow is out. That was definitely, and I saw the 25 on pit road. I wonder if she was the reason for this yellow, and looks like my answer may be correct. See what happened here to Gretchen Mueller. Of course, like I said, we'll drive for Daniel Vols Racing next season. Oh, just like what we've seen before, and Tatum Wright got a piece of it. Happened in our first caution. That was a hard lick. Thank goodness for safer barriers. A lot of damage to that Federated Auto Parts Toyota Tundra. And Gretchen Mueller's day is sadly done. Alright, the leaders are coming to pit road, so that means these drivers will make it the rest of the way, so we will not have to worry about pit stops. We've just taken the one to go signal. Richard Mueller out of the race after that incident. It's been a wreck fest here today. Then again, I'm kind of not surprised about it, but it's typical Dover, so what do you expect? Now we have 5 drivers on the lead lap who could possibly win this race. 5 trucks on the lead lap. We have a total of 22 trucks. We're almost down half the field than what we started with. Of course, we started with 36. We're down to 22. Everybody else in the garage area. Back to green. Some drivers not up to speed. Zara Mirmo is trying to get one of her laps back, and looks like she might succeed. We had a caution here. Everybody would get, and those 2 trucks would get back on the lead lap, putting us a total of 7. As the 54 runs high, there's Mandy Evans. I was giving her a shout out before that last caution came out. Mandy Evans, another driver, a win for her. She would be in the playoffs. Only 1 top 5, 3 top 10s this season for that 58 truck. And of course, she has a charter because this is one of the championship charters from Ricky Cervantes, the team owner. And you will see Ricky Cervantes along with the other drivers in the Monster Energy Series in a couple of days from now. It's like ever since we had a couple of technical issues, looks like the internet has started to calm down. So that's really positive news for me. And now Chloe Carmichael has taken the lead. Down the 40 laps to go. And while this is going on, I'm going to take the final commercial break, be back to cover the checker flag. I'll go get some ice for both my Pepsi and my water, so be right back. If anything happens while I'm gone, we'll rewind and look back at the replay. I have returned. And looks like we had a lead change while I was gone. Annie Crenshaw has taken a race lead with 35-34 to go. Of course, if Annie Crenshaw goes to victory lane, we'll see where this is going to situate her as far as the points are concerned between herself and 30th in the standings. I know she's going to gain a lot of ground. The good news for her, she is ahead of all those drivers that were involved in incidents. Pete Ramirez, Carlos Sinat. I think the 49 is still in this race. I could be wrong. Yeah, she's still in the race. But she's ahead of those drivers in the point stand, so she's probably going to capitalize on the misfortunes of other drivers. Of course, Patrick Combs, a well-needed run. Like I said, Annie Crenshaw has not scored a top 5 at all this season. Of course, Ashley Horton's doing her chances of trying to keep her charter for next season a whole lot of good. Of course, her teammate's going to take a hit in the points. Also, the other thing for Ashley Horton, the gal who's trying to run down for that spot is 19th. That's Rita Sigrid. So Rita Sigrid's not going to gain any points on Ashley Horton or the 54. Could push Lauren Grubius into the danger zone, but the good thing is for DVR, if they were to have to use one of their charters for next season, the funny thing is DVR gets 3 of their drivers into the playoffs and wins the championship, they'll more than likely use one of those charters for next season, their championship charter. So it could be a hit or could be a saving grace. Of course, Lauren Grubius is going to need a win to get in the playoffs, more than likely. Once this race is done, we will send it down to Cody Smart and our Triple B clan for the post-race show. They'll recap today's race here for trucks in the AutoZone Amateur Series. Give their opinions as they look at the playoff grid after this Truck Series race, their final thoughts on these 2 races, and a preview of tomorrow as we get ready for the Buffalo Wild Wings Series race here at Dover. Jessica Moore now back on the tail end lead lap. Jimmy Baker trying to do the same. That's 26 to go. I wonder if the 54's handling probably is starting to go away. Like I mentioned before, you know, the points are absolutely going to be shaken up after today's race, because you have a number of drivers who are way down the points table, and this is a repeat of the AutoZone Amateur Series from earlier today. I talked about a lot of drivers who are really struggling in the point standings as far as a charter driver. This is a great run for them. A lot of drivers who came in running well in points having dismal runs. So I'm starting to wonder, as, whoa, Bridget Thomas nearly got turned by Chloe Carmichael. Almost had a one-way trip to the inside wall, but they keep it together. I was getting ready to say before that incident, I'm starting to wonder if we're going to have a point shakeup for Buffalo Wild Wings and Monster Energy Series after what we've had in these 2 races this weekend. Something tells me in the back of my mind we might end up having a point shakeup. But then again, anything can happen in those 2 series. And of course, Trucks and AutoZone Amateur Series, that was actually a double header today. So you guys got to see 350 miles, which is almost, which was about 50 laps short of a full 400-mile race you've seen on this channel today. And with these lap trucks in the way, this could really play a factor who's going to win this race. Annie Crenshaw knows she's going to have to win this race because, like I said, she would go in these last 4 races in a must-win situation. And she would have to do that if this 19 wants to defend their championship that Ari Springer won last year. Of course, Ari Springer's in the playoffs in the Monster Energy Series. She's also leading the points in the Buffalo Wild Wings Series. So imagine Ari Springer pulling the impossible. And you look at a driver like Mandy Evans, she could also capitalize on a lot of drivers' misfortunes. You know, Jesse Art had a struggling day, Tico Jumiaka. I have a bad feeling if Tico Jumiaka starts to fall outside the top 30 in points, if he continues on this struggling path he's on, this could be bad news for him because his win would possibly not count the way the way these last few races have been for him. So if I'm Tico Jumiaka, I need to start winning races and or start getting good results if you want to be one of the 10 drivers battling it out for this season's chase for the championship, as Chloe Carmichael is going to take the lead. The other thing we're going to have to bring this up is, say Chloe Carmichael wins this race. Of course, she's in the playoffs, and the issue is going to be she's a Monster Energy Series driver. What's going to happen in the event of someone's asked me this question in the comments, I think in one of my races, that say if a Monster Energy Series driver is in the top 10 in the playoffs, who would be the next driver in line to make it into the Buffalo Wild Wings Series? Well, Monster Energy Series drivers, even if they are in the playoffs or not, even if the Monster Energy Series driver, as I'm going to try to make sure I don't derp, makes the playoffs in Trucks and Buffalo Wild Wings Series, it would go to the next highest driver that's not in that series that would be possibly looking to make it into the playoffs and or make it into the advance, as far as that's concerned. As I'm watching, I believe, the most recent season for MasterChef Canada. I think this is like the Tournament of Losers, who's finally going to get that opportunity. So but back to my point. So, like I said, even if Chloe Carmichael goes to victory lane, this would open the door for all of the other drivers who are not a Foster or a Buffalo Wild Wings or Monster Energy Series driver that don't have a ride in that spot. Because, say if Chloe Carmichael goes to victory lane, the driver who is currently on the bubble for that spot would be Makara Mirmoez, as things stand. That's as if the playoffs were to begin today. That would be the driver on the bubble. And the good news from Makara Mirmoez is, should Makara make the playoffs, That's a charter for the Buffalo Wild Wings series. And that could give Marshall, the newest manufacturer down there in that series, a playoff spot. And that is critical. Oh, this is MasterChef Canada back to win I'm watching. Cool. I'll probably start watching this after I'm done with this race, so. I'll do 6 laps of racing to go, or next time I win across the line. Jessica Moore is going to be a thorn, and could possibly have a potential to mess this battle for the win up. And she and Jimmy Baker have been called to the big red truck for not moving out of the leader's way and letting the leaders duke it out for the win, because they're being a pain in the thorn. And of course the 02 is trying to screw the 19 over just to make sure the 54 wins this race, not trying to take sides here. Because they've been given the blue flag, and so far the 17 and the 02 have been ignoring the blue flag and just racing leaders like they're on the lead lap when they're not. I mean, I don't know what they're trying to accomplish here, which is absolutely nothing in this race. Down the 4 to go, be 3 to go next time by. 80 minutes I've been recording shit. And here comes the 17, just going to be a thorn. And this could actually help Annie Crenshaw. And there goes Crenshaw to the lead. With 2 laps of racing to go. Now, can she hold off the 54? Can the 02 not be a thorn in the side? 2 to go for Annie Crenshaw. What would be her first career Coca-Cola Truck Series win, excuse me. And would this get her a chance to possibly get into the playoffs? Coming to the white flag. Does Chloe Carmichael have anything left for the draw type Ford F Series out of Smart Motorsports? Nope, Jimmy Baker's going to move the 54 up high. That might have been all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. And the teenager who turned 18 made her debut at Martinsville, Annie Crenshaw, will get her first career Truck Series win, winning the Lucas Oil 200. And Chloe Carmichael's got to be very angry at the 17 and the 02, because they screwed it up. And Annie Crenshaw took advantage. And we'll see where this situates Annie Crenshaw if she's going to make it into this season's chase for the championship. The standings are indeed official. I'm trying to get to the results. There's race number 12. There we go. Annie Crenshaw will also win Rookie of the Race. Good for her. Chloe Carmichael, so close, trying to make the playoffs, and 2 lappers. The 17, the 02 screwed it up. She'll have to settle for second. Nice quiet run from Andy Evans. Came in this race 20th in the points, so she'll definitely move her way through the point standings, leaving today with solid third. Ashley Horton, a well-needed run for a driver that came in this race on the bubble as far as trying to keep her charter for next season. A 4th place run, that's definitely what the doctor ordered. Riley Ruplier, 5th, good run for him. He came into this race 22nd in the points. Another driver that was on the cut line of possibly losing his charter. So 2 drivers going to do themselves a lot of good. Jessica Moore will finish 6th, although I highly doubt She's going to be on Chloe Carmichael's happy list at the end of the season. Jimmy Baker 7th, Bridget Thomas 8th, Samantha Granger 9th. Granger will stay in the top 10 of the points leaving today. Azara Mirwes will complete the top 10 in the 10th spot. Good run for those drivers. You look on down through the point standings, see a lot of drivers who were running well in points had bad results. And then out of the race were Gretchen Mueller, Charlie Silver, Lauren Grubius, Pete Ramirez, Makara Mirwes, Billy Kitchens, April Winters, Justin Hugo, Prudence Lojan, Annika Ritchie, Lucky Prescott, Heather Gallant, Sarah Costello, and Tico Jumiaka. Hattie Swore, who was leading at that time, got involved in an incident so far. So, the points leader finished out of the race. Second in points finished out of the race. The 05. Let me see where the 05 finished. 05 finished 11th. Came in this race third in the points. But the 05 was like almost a full race back. So, I can tell you the points are absolutely going to be shaken up heading into next race, which is next week from Kansas. But that's going to do it from Dover International Raceway. Annie Crenshaw will conquer Miles the Monster and get her first career Truck Series win. Now the question is, what's going to be that gap between herself and 30th in the standings for this Dover win today to count towards the spot into the playoffs? Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the PCSRA crew today. We've shown your full finish results. You will see your updated rookie points and overall point standings heading into our next race. That is at Kansas next week for trucks. Of course, tomorrow we have the Buffalo Wild Wings Series, and the following day, the Monster Energy Series here at Dover, as we're halfway through our race weekend. Until then, I've been Dean Duval signing off, and you have been watching yet another broadcast of the PCSRA, the best in racing around the world since 2017. So long from Dover, everybody.